So picture this. You follow every instruction that you were given since you were young. You do well in school, then you get into college, then you get into grad school. You graduate with your big fancy advanced degree, whether it's a master's, a doctorate, a PhD. You get a good job, you just work that job forever, and that's it. You're successful. You work that job, that's the job that you have forever, and then you'll be good. That's what we were taught, right? And I think that has a lot to do with how the older people in my family, how that generation kind of came up. You know, you find yourself a good job and you just kind of work that job until you die or until you retire. And that's what success was. And so I went through all of my early years thinking that once I get into grad school, once I get through grad school, once I get through grad school and get this good job, then I'd be successful. So I'm a physical therapist. All in all, my total schooling was about 7 years. I did 4 years of undergrad, and then I did an additional 3 years for grad school, for my doctorate. Now, I'm always going to be thankful for the journey of grad school, the things that I learned, the people that I met, some of my best friends that I still talk to this day, and the things that I learned that allowed me to do the job and have the career that I have now. I will always be thankful for that. But that shit was hard. There were definitely a lot of tears, a lot of energy drinks, a lot of late nights, a lot of studying, a lot of stress. But just the thought that at the end of all of that was going to be stability, security, and a good job that I could always kind of rely on. And that thought was the thing that kept me pushing throughout grad school. Once I make it through this exam, once I make it through this paper, this semester, this year, just a little bit more, and then I'll be good. And eventually, that's exactly what happened. I made it through all of my schooling, all of my didactic coursework. I took my licensure exam. I passed it the first time. And then a couple of days later, after passing my exam, I started working. So now I'm working. I finally achieved my goal of, being a physical therapist. I'm in the clinic. I'm treating patients. Like any other job, it's a job. So it's a necessary evil. So not every day is going to be super great, fantastic. But definitely for the most part, my first few months there, I was really enjoying the work that I was doing. It felt like I was making a difference. I was applying the things that I learned in school, and people were saying that I was helping them, and that made me feel great. Now, up until that point in my life, I described myself as a professional student. I graduated grad school when I was 27. I was Dr. Allen at 27, which was pretty cool, a little bit of a flex. But yeah, I was a professional student. From 18 up until that point, I was, trying to get into school, trying to stay in school, trying to get through school. So that's pretty much all I knew. And up until that point, this is kind of the first time that I was entering the job market. I was a professional, and it was new to me. It was also new to me. And I remember about 3 months later, around the holiday season, around Thanksgiving, I started having this thought. I was on the way to work one day, and I was thinking so this is life. This is me for the rest of my life. Waking up Monday through Friday, commuting, working 8-9 hours, and then coming home. And along with that, I was just starting to have these other thoughts like, wow, do I really have to do this for the rest of my life? Do I have to build up PTO and request time off and wait for it to get approved and kind of deal and work on somebody else's schedule for me? But for the most part, I just kind of put it in the back of my mind and kept it pushing. But the thought started to creep up a little bit more often. It wasn't only when I was commuting to work every once in a blue moon. It started to be, every commute. Every time I woke up, on my commute home, the Sunday scaries were definitely starting to be a real thing for me around 7 or 8 o'clock at night on Sundays. I would think man, I have to go back to work tomorrow. And again, eventually that thought just started to really kind of consume me, honestly. And that's when I started to realize that I was burning out. I was still enjoying treating patients, but it felt like I wasn't really putting as much of my heart and my soul into it like I really wanted to. And that's when I started to feel like a failure. And not a failure as in the sense of I didn't accomplish what I wanted to do, because again, I was working. I got through grad school. I was Dr. Allen. But it felt like sometimes I would think that I wasted my time. And 7 years is a long time to do anything. Again, I spent 7 years of my life trying to get into school, trying to get through school. And to have these thoughts like, did I choose the right career path? Am I doing the right thing? That's what made me feel like a failure. I like to kind of describe this time of my life as I was running in a hamster wheel. I was just kind of going through the motions and doing the same thing over and over again. Work Monday through Friday, live for the weekend, get scared on Sunday, do the same thing over again. And it felt like I wasn't really growing or applying myself or doing anything to better me as a person. And that's what made me feel like a failure. Eventually, I figured out the change that I needed to make so that I could, continue doing the job that I honestly really do enjoy doing, but to make sure that I was kind of tending to my own personal needs. And so now I do a lot of travel work, which involves me kind of picking up and going to different places, different clinics, different cities every about 3 to 6 months. And sometimes it can be a lot. Sometimes it's a lot to kind of pick up my life and move to a different state. But I can definitely say that now that I have a lot more control over my work-life balance and I just a lot more freedom on my end, I am definitely a lot happier than I was, I guess like 2, 3 years. Damn, I'm getting old. 2, 3 years ago at this point. Because again, this ability to kind of be where I want, work where I want, work when I want, and not when I want, it kind of allows me to have that feeling that I feel like I'm in more control of my life. And that's really what I wanted. This kind of turned into a venting video, but I guess sometimes that's necessary. Again, I went through a large chunk of my younger life thinking that once I reach this one goal that I would be happy forever. And I learned that's not necessarily the truth. I don't think that's true for anybody. I don't think the pursuit of one specific goal is going to be the end of happiness or like the end goal for everything, for everybody, because I feel like me and everybody else, we're always growing. We're always kind of striving or trying to achieve different things. And now that I know that, the end all be all isn't just with my doctorate, isn't just with my job and my career, I feel like I've kind of opened myself up to being more willing to explore different things. Like I'm doing this YouTube content creation thing now. And I know even though no one's watching my videos for now, it's just interesting getting into something new, finding something new that I want to get good at, that I want to develop my skills in slowly and kind of see where I'm at in a year or 2 from now. And knowing that I can mix in, what I do professionally in a different way than just going in and out of the clinic every day makes me happy. It lets me know that, all that time spent wasn't wasted and that I'm not a failure.